What's going on? Let's talk about Bellroy's brand new Transit Sling in the 5-liter size and why it's currently my favorite of their mid-size slings. Beyond that, as per usual, I'll share some nitpicks that I have and I'll pack it out so you can get a proper walkthrough of the entire sling. Bellroy are truly masters of the slingverse. My favorite parts of this sling are the fact that you get some of the best things in the Bellroy Venture Ready sling, which is still my favorite sling altogether, in a midsize. Secondly, there's a little sleeve that you get in a front compartment that I'll talk about. Very subtle touch, but that's been really useful for me. And then lastly, the RFID sleeve. For me, it's not so much the RFID protection, even though that's nice, but just the fact that you get a little additional organization within the main compartment with that sleeve. If you look at their Venture Ready sling, which is 2.5 liters, if you want something a little bigger where you're still treating it as a pocket relief dump, but you want to carry a small notebook or an iPad mini or a Kindle, something along those lines, maybe a small water bottle. If you want something in the Venture line, you would jump into the 6 liter, or if not the 9 liter, but I already consider 9 liters to be on the larger end of sling sizes. And if you don't want the Venture, you can go into their Lite series where they have a 4 and a 7 liter, and they have other slings beyond that, like the Classic Collection and things like that. But in both the mid-size Lite version and the Venture ones, there's 2 components that you don't get that you finally get now in the Transit Sling. First of all, the front external pocket is a lot more easily accessible in both the Lite and the Venture. There's essentially like a flap design, which aesthetically looks great. I think there's some functionality there as far as minimizing the amount of water that can get in there. But to me, that's a pocket that is located in the most convenient place for easy access, but it ends up getting very underutilized because it is a tight, cumbersome pocket to get into. With the Venture Ready sling, as well as this one, you get an easy top-down access and then very simple but intuitive segmentation where there's a gusseted divider in the middle, so you have some expandability, and then you have 2 pockets in there. In the walkthrough, I'll show you in more detail, but then the second and really important component is having this rear concealed pocket. It's a great stash pocket for loose things or things that you just want closer to your body for that peace of mind, like a passport, even though in this one there's a better place for a passport, cash, things like that. This pocket is a must-have for me on slings, and you don't get it in the 4 liter or the 7 liter Lite sling, nor in their 6 liter Venture sling. So it's great that they've incorporated that here. Second thing that I really like about this sling, it's such a subtle thing, but I've been saying it for some time, which is if you look at the key clip, right? But then when you put your keys in here, it ends up essentially taking that whole pocket space. There's still space for other things, but they don't become as easily accessible. They did something so simple. They don't have this in the Venture Ready, but they added a little sleeve here. So it gives you the ability to, when you've got your keys hooked in here, or you don't even need to hook them, you can slip them behind here and then essentially have a completely other usable pocket. So that's where I throw my AirPods, or vice versa. You can have, if your keys are really bulky, you can have them in that main segmented compartment and then use that sleeve behind it for the AirPods, however you prefer. And then the last thing that I really like about it is that they included this RFID sleeve. In the standard Venture sling, you get like a padded sleeve just to create some segmentation. This accomplishes the same thing within this bag, but beyond that, you also get a zippered compartment. So like right now I have both a wallet and a passport just to show you what can fit in there comfortably. Of course, the more things that you put in there, the more it's gonna make it tighter to get back here. So I probably wouldn't put more than that, but I think if you're traveling and you've got your passport on you, that would be the place that I'd keep it, not only for the RFID protection, but the fact that you have to get into the main compartment, and then within that, it's tucked away in a sleeve there as well. Now, before I get into the full walkthrough, just a few nitpicks that I have with it. the fact that this strap isn't detachable. There's also another component that I really like in the Venture Ready Sling that this one is lacking that I'll get into. Secondly is the implementation of the sunglass pouch, which is very similar to how they have it set up in the 6-liter Venture Sling. It's still great that they have a dedicated place for your sunglasses, but I'll talk about why it's still not my preferred setup. And then just lastly, the fact that to get into the main compartment, you only get a single zipper head instead of two. I don't mind one in the front and in the back, but in the main compartment, I would have liked two. As far as the strap goes, in all of the other Venture slings, you get some sort of buckle. In the Venture Ready, you get this magnetic one that I really like. And I know for a lot of people, they'll have their sling loose enough that they can just put it on and take it off. And they're not really doing that. But honestly, I like it a little bit more snug on me, so it feels really comfortable. And I don't mind just when I want to take it off, like getting into the car or whatever it is, just doing that quick motion to remove it. With this one, you don't have the ability to remove the strap. The second thing is you'll see these articulating loops that essentially conform better to your body depending on where you have the sling positioned. You'll see as you move it around, the positioning of the strap is more snug against your body. They've eliminated that with the Transit Sling. It's just traditional straps stitched on to it. It's not a huge deal, but just something that I've gotten accustomed to that I do like in the Venture Ready. Second little nitpick is the sunglass pouch. Again, it's fantastic that you have a dedicated place for your sunglasses, or not necessarily sunglasses, something else, in this really nice stretch mesh zippered compartment. But you'll notice that the actual zipper starts lower on the bag, so getting in and out of it, you just have to like dig deeper into it. And then in addition to that, the sunglasses aren't really suspended that much. So when you want to put anything here and you've got your sunglasses in there, it's probably going to be interacting with your sunglasses, which I don't love. Now, the reason why I suspect that they did this and every design choice is a compromise is the fact that they gave you a pen sleeve up here. At least this is what I am thinking. I love that they included a pen sleeve. It's hard to say like where else they could have intuitively put a pen sleeve, but I get why they did that. If they had the sunglass pouch higher, then when you have this closed, then the pen would be like touching the sunglasses. Still, for me, I would rather just have really quick and easy access to my sunglasses because that's something I really value in a sling. And then for the pen, like maybe just not having that pen sleeve and just putting the pen somewhere else, like in the rear concealed pocket, for example. Yeah, I think the only other place that maybe they could have put a pen sleeve is up here, but you don't get nearly as much structure as you get up here. So that's probably why they opted for that. And given the fact that this is a medium-sized sling, I suspect a lot of people want to carry something like a notepad. So I do see the value in just having your pen and your notepad right there next to one another. The reason why I'm a little bit spoiled is because of the way they implement the sunglass pouch in the Venture Ready Sling, where there is a no zippered compartment and it sits higher on the bag. So when I've got my sunglasses in there, there's no fuss with a zipper. It's just taking them out and putting them in is a lot easier. I think having the zipper is gonna make it so that bulkier sunglasses can fit in here more comfortably, but you can technically leave the zipper open just to make that whole experience easier. But then there's just a lot of loose fabric. It's not taut, so then you end up cannibalizing whatever space you have here in the main compartment. And then my last little nitpick is the fact that here in the main compartment, you only get a single zipper. You'll notice in the Venture Ready Sling, you get two. And so depending on where the sling is oriented or how much or how little you want to open it up, I think it's nice just having the flexibility of having that additional zipper. But yeah, with that being said, let me show you the sling and then just give you my final thoughts on it. So this is the first sling in their Transit collection. Their Venture line of products is geared more towards the adventurous, rugged type of person with some of the material choices that they incorporate. The Lite is more technical, more casual, and more minimal in terms of organization, as it's prioritizing weight over having a dedicated pocket for everything. And then their transit line, as the name subtly implies, is designed more for your urban commuter / traveler. It has, out of all of those three collections, a more refined, classy look. And a lot of that is defined by the recycled Duraweave fabric shell that they're using. And then the fact that they've got this like vegan leather trim piece here, as well as on the zipper pulls. Whereas, for example, on their Venture line, they have their phenomenal canvas like beta nylon that has a more natural feel to it. And then they've got these shrink wrapped zipper pulls, still identify more with the look and feel of their Venture line. But I think this is probably gonna have a broader appeal. This recycled Duraweave has a little bit of a sheen to it. It's definitely a lot smoother than the beta nylon that has a little bit of a roughness to it while still feeling fantastic. And then they're using what looks like number 6 PU coated zippers. You'll notice they have a little bit of piping here that serves two purposes. One, if you want to hook anything to it, you can, but also like from a security standpoint, if you want to put your zipper all the way through, it makes it harder for people to quickly unzip your bag. For the strap, on the Venture line, the Night Sky color variant was the only one that came with this premium airplane seatbelt material that I think a lot of people will like. If you look at the standard one, it's got more texture to it. You can say it's definitely not as smooth. I haven't had an issue with it, but I know a lot of people find that just creates more friction, is not as comfortable or smooth on your shoulders. With the 3 colorways in the Transit Sling, you get this airplane style material, which is super nice. Getting into the bag, in the front, you've got these 2 segmented pockets similar to the Venture Ready. I keep a mobile battery bank on one side. Then they've created a little partition, a little sleeve here, so you can tuck your keys and have an additional space without creating clutter. So this is where I throw my AirPods. You still have like space for other essentials, but I tend to keep the things that I want very easily accessible as clutter-free as possible, and anything that's secondary quick access that I'm not accessing as often, I'll put in other areas of the bag. So in the rear compartment, this is great because it's like right up against your body. So you have that peace of mind. This is a good place for putting loose things. So I've got a pair of nail clippers, some chapstick, and this Wuben G5 little flashlight. I'm gonna be releasing a video soon on travel essentials. I'll include this on here. This is just a really practical, compact flashlight. Takes up such little space, has a little clip here and a magnet. Charges via USB-C. So yeah, something that I'm more than happy to throw in my sling just to have it in there. I feel like with kids now, I'm constantly using flashlights way more than I did before, like not wanting to wake them up when they're asleep, and I'm trying to be less dependent on my phone. And yeah, that's been my go-to flashlight for most of my day-to-day life. Now, getting into the main compartment of the bag, you have in the front this stretch mesh pouch. This is where I keep my sunglasses, and you have space for other things. I just don't like to put anything beyond a microfiber little wipe there for my sunglasses. Then in the middle, you have an RFID sleeve. This works as a partition to segment bulkier things inside the main compartment, but then you get some additional organization in a safer place with a zippered pocket that they've included in there. When you don't put a lot of things, like let's just keep my passport there, it's nice because you can have space on the back for, this is a 5x8 moleskin. You can also fit an iPad mini in here, Kindle, and then on the front, like typically I have my phone in my pocket, but if you want to put your phone in there, you can. The only thing to keep in mind is if you have something bulkier here in the back, like a moleskin, and you have your sunglasses in here as well, then the space in the front here, it just gets tight. Like right now I have just my phone in there and it's interacting with the sunglasses. So this is part of the reason why I would have liked the sunglass pouch to be a little higher, because I find that I'm not really using this space in front of it as much as I would like when I've got my sunglasses in there. But yeah, other than that, they included a pen sleeve, which is great. I think more and more bag brands just fully embracing this digital era that we're in and neglecting just a very simple, thoughtful place for your pen. And then lastly, they've got, like they do in pretty much all of their products now, where the internal Bellroy tag is, it also has a sleeve there, so you can fit your air tag in there if you'd like. But that's pretty much it. Like, final thoughts, like me personally, the way I use slings, because I'm not carrying something like a notepad very often, or an iPad mini, I don't even have one, or a Kindle, something along those lines, I've never felt the need to have something medium size. We have their 10-liter camera Venture sling that we use as a diaper bag / as like a camera bag hybrid, and it's fantastic at that size. This is too small to carry our kids like diapers, change of clothes, things like that. But as someone that has tried out a lot of slings, and I mean the sling in the bagging community is super popular, and super popular for a reason. It has very thoughtful, intuitive organization. It's a good size, it looks good in so many different environments. And now you essentially get what makes this sling so great in a 5-liter size without having to sacrifice some of the things that are very important to me. Having that front pocket that's a lot more functional to easily access your things, having that rear concealed pocket as well. Really the only trade-offs are not having a detachable strap. The sunglass pouch is implemented in the same way as they do in their 6-liter Venture sling, which is a zippered compartment. It doesn't sit as high up, so your sunglasses aren't as easily accessible. And then the other worthwhile consideration is just the fact that even though I prefer these zipper pulls and their beta nylon over their recycled DuraWeave, I think for most people, maybe I'm wrong, they're gonna prefer the more refined look that you get out of this shell fabric, as well as like the vegan leather trim pieces. So all in all, I think it's a fantastic addition to their already borderline overwhelming selection of slings that they have. I am curious for whenever they refresh, which I have no idea when that will happen, but their Venture line of slings, if they'll keep the mid-size and larger size slings without this rear pocket, or if they'll implement that, or if they'll move to a front access pocket that's a little bit more functional. What I do hope that they keep, at least selfishly, is the way they've cleverly implemented the sunglass pouch design in the Venture Ready sling, and then also keeping the detachable strap functionality, as well as these articulating loops that just keeps the sling more flush up against your body. But yeah, other than that, best of luck and cheers.